So give it just another minute or so. We're going to start, this is what the apparatus that I have set up. So whatever you have that's like that, we're going to start with Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. So this is basically something to lie over if you have it. And then a little prop under your head, if you can. A belt, around your legs will be good. So these are the things to have to the extent that you have them. If you don't have them, then you can just lie down. That's also fine. But we'll get there in just a minute. We'll give it just another minute or two before we start in earnest. Since I've been keeping these classes to basically an hour or so, we haven't really been starting in Supta Baddha Konasana like I normally do. So tonight we will, though.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Jim. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody, and we'll get going. Okay, so as I had suggested, we would start with just Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose. So if you have a bolster or something like a bolster that you can lie over, have that. In any case, have something under your head. Bound angle pose is the one where you sit like so with your feet together, like this. And then we're going to just lie back over whatever prop you have. You can probably see it better from the side angle here. Now, if you have a belt like this of some sort, it's nice to put this over your head, low on your waist and back, and then have your feet kind of secured in it. This basically just allows you to remain even more passive in the pose. So you don't have to even think about holding your legs and feet in place, because the belt will do that for you. So in any case, go ahead and just lie back. We're gonna be in each pose for a bit of time. So so there's no hurry to get from one thing to another. If you find that this is a bit aggressive for your groin, for your inner thighs, you can put something underneath, an extra blanket or a pillow or something like so. I only have one within reach, but it would be like so. Then that just makes it a little less of a stress on the groin. So as you're here, then you just let the breath quiet. Let the weight of your body settle down into the floor, into your props. As you start to kind of get into the yoga mode, put behind you the stress of the day, then you can start to do a little internal inventory, examination. It's kind of sense how you feel physically in the pose. Is there any place where you're feeling some physical sensation, some tightness, some heaviness, some joy, whatever it might be. So you just take a little inventory and just be aware of what's happening in your body. Oftentimes we feel a little stress in certain particular places, like for example, in the gut, in the area of the solar plexus or towards the navel. There are there's quite a cluster of neurons there. So when we talk about having a gut feeling, it's not indigestion. It's often an actual mental, it's like a brain. It's like a brain in your abdomen, and it's very much aware of stress. We hold it there, of course. We notice that all the time. When we feel stressed, we find that tension or that discomfort in the abdomen. Feel a lot of things there. So maybe you'll feel some there. Maybe in the throat. A lot of times, when we get choked up, there's another big bundle of nerves at the base of the throat. These, of course, are each important chakra or energy centers in the body. The throat and the navel solar plexus area. So if you are feeling something in any of these places or somewhere else, in your feet, in your arms, hands, forehead, back of your head, wherever it might be, just allow yourself to feel that, to just be there present with those feelings. You can imagine yourself breathing into those spaces so that if you're feeling in the gut something there, some disease, consciously direct your breath to that space. Of course, the air doesn't go there, but the energetic flow may. It helps to bring awareness if you imagine breathing into that space where you're feeling whatever it is that you're examining. All right, so we'll start to come out of this now. I'm not sure I want to. I'm feeling this is very, I had a rather stressful conference call at 4 or 5 today, and this is just now allowing me to kind of release from that. So, probably all of you have had something like that today as well. So let's just kind of ease our way out of this, and we'll go right back into some additional little explorations like this as well. So just gently push up into a seated posture. If you're wearing a belt or strap, you can take that off. And then we'll sit up on some bit of height. Sit, if you have a bolster or a blanket or a block, You can sit on that with legs crossed. And we'll do some Nadi Shodhana pranayama. We did this a few weeks ago. This is the alternate nostril breathing. I find it really valuable in addressing stress because, for one thing, it just takes a lot of awareness and attention. So you have to pay attention, and that takes your mind away from whatever the stressful thing is. But we're not really so much trying to move away from the stressful thing, whatever might be bothering us at any given time, or whatever might be feeling great at any given time. We're not trying to avoid it, but rather just not be clutched onto it, not gripping it. So taking the intense awareness away from it, but allowing it to be there and allowing us to be present and aware of it is quite fine, but just not so much gripping onto it. So as you may recall, for those who've done, I'm going to take my glasses off for this because I'll get in the way. We're going to take the middle finger, the right hand, the middle finger and the index finger together. We'll be touching either the third eye space or on the bridge of the nose. The bridge of the nose is better, but I find it a little uncomfortable for myself. So either of those two is fine. Then the thumb will be on the right side, that little cartilagey part of the nostril. And then the pinky and the ring finger together will be on the left side, that left nostril side. So this is the basic structure that we're holding. We want to use just the minimal amount of effort, the minimal amount of contact to close off one side or the other as we do the breath. So the idea is we're going to inhale through the left, hold, exhale through the right, hold, inhale through the right, hold, exhale through the left, hold, and go back and forth in that sequence. Now, the other thing that you can choose to do or not is the Jalandhara Bandha, which is the throat energy lock. So if you're sitting really upright, and let's all give this a try to see how it feels. So your torso is really upright, your spine erect. This area here, the notch in the collarbone, you want to lift it up. Then you want to take your chin toward that notch. So that kind of compresses a little bit that space of the base of the throat. And then you deliberately restrict the breath there a little bit. Go ahead and lift your head back up to amplify the sound of the breath. Gives a kind of Darth Vader-like sound to the breath. And the idea is to, when you breathe in and out, is to have the first place the inhale touches is that place there at the base of the back of the throat. And then on the exhale, the last place that your body touches that breath is that space. So your nostrils don't even really feel the breath. We try to make the breath very narrow, and it goes directly to the back of the throat, to and from. So that's the idea. So now you can do the Jalandhara Bandha if you wish, or not. That'll be your choice. Your left hand, since you're going to be using your right hand for the breath, your left hand can either be out like so in Jhana Mudra, where the tip of the index finger and thumb are touching, and the other fingers are outstretched, or your hands can just lie in your lap comfortably. If your right arm tires, go ahead and support it with your left hand. That's also fine. Okay, so take the hand position for your right hand. Take whatever position you're going to use for your left hand. Sit really upright, extend the spine, and then, as you may wish, take the Jalandhara Bandha or not. I'm not going to because it's harder for me to give the instructions. But if you want to go ahead and tip your chin down while lifting your chest up, that's quite fine. Okay, with the fingers all in position, take a few breaths through both nostrils. And then take a full inhale through both nostrils. And a full exhale through both nostrils. Close the right side, inhale through the left. Close both, hold. Open the right, exhale. Close both, hold. Open the right, inhale. Close both, hold. Open left, exhale. Close both, hold. Open left, inhale. Close and hold. Open left, exhale. Open right, exhale. Close and hold. Open right, inhale. Close and hold. Open left, exhale. Close and hold. Open left, inhale. Close and hold. Open right, exhale. Close and hold. Open right, inhale. Close and hold. Open left, exhale. Close and hold. Open left, inhale. Continue for a couple more cycles at your own pace and in your own comfort zone. After your next hold, after exhale on the left side, return to normal breathing. And then extend your legs out straight. And get them comfortable with being straight again. Then we're going to lie back down again. So first, another very comfortable pose. Take your bolster or blanket or something, pillow in front of you, crosswise like this. Still will have a blanket under the head. We're going to go back to bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana, this time with your feet up on the bolster. So your back is comfortably extended out onto the floor, and you just let go now. So this should feel very comforting at this point. Maybe a little bit of a little tight, maybe in the inner groin, inner thighs there, but your low back can really let go. Now with this, you can really let the abdomen soften. And once again, just take your awareness inside. How do you feel? What are you feeling? Be aware of that, be present with that, and just breathe into that space, wherever that is. Now just stretch your legs out over your prop, whatever you may have. Or if you don't have a prop, then just legs straight. Now this should feel supremely comfortable. Your knees bent and raised just a little bit above the height of the pelvis. Let the abdomen soften, let the low back soften. Let the breath move quietly, evenly, in and out both nostrils. All right, now we'll stir from this. You can stay lying down, but maybe come up onto your elbows so you can see what I'm going to do next. This is a bit challenging, so everybody can pick their own capacity for this. This is a lotus pose. It'll end up being supine lotus pose, Supta Padmasana. So I'll show you the full pose. I'm going to take my right foot up onto my left thigh, as far up and out as you can comfortably get. And then here my left foot goes on top, like so. And to the extent you can, you would bring your knees toward each other. Now don't do yet, and just kind of watch. If you have a belt, you can use this to help make the pose a little more passive. By putting it around your knees, like so. So like so, and then you lie down. So this is how it looks. Now, for those who are not able or not comfortable with doing full lotus today, you can do it like so. So let's say you take the right foot up, and you just take the left foot underneath. So this would be half lotus. And then, again, you would just lie down, like so. Now, if half lotus is not going to work for you, then you just cross your legs and lie back with your legs crossed. So take one position or the other. If you're able to do so, go ahead and take that right foot up onto the left thigh. And if you're able to do so and prepare to, go ahead and take that left foot up on top of the right thigh. Use the belt if you wish to kind of restrain. That's the bound part. It's the Sanskrit is Ardha Baddha Padmasana, which is half bound lotus. So whatever form of Padmasana or half lotus or legs crossed that you may have within you at this point, then you just lie back with your head supported. Now you can also have some kind of blanket or pillow or bolster underneath your knee or knees as well. Because for some people, like when you look at me, my legs just go flat out onto the floor. Most people that doesn't quite happen so easily. The knees may be lifted up halfway to the ceiling. So feel free to put a support under there as you might wish. But once you've got your spot, and I know this may be a little bit of a struggle, but once you've got the spot as well as you can manage it, then once again, just settle into that quiet, even breath. And once again, take that internal inquiry. In the esoteric rules of yoga, so to speak, the 8 limbs of yoga, as this guy Patanjali wrote them back 250 before the current era. That's pratyahara. It's withdrawal of awareness away from external sense objects. Or another way of saying it, turn your gaze inward and be present and aware of what you're feeling internally. All right, and then we'll come back up and we're going to switch the leg position. So whatever version of cross-legged pose you're doing, you want to turn the opposite, put the opposite leg either, now here my left foot is on top of my right thigh, and then my right foot crosses over on top of the left. And one thing that this pose in particular does is it kind of more activates the lowest chakra, the Muladhara chakra, which is basically, if you follow the spine down to the tailbone, just off the tailbone, just above the perineum, the pelvic floor. That's the Muladhara chakra. And so we're going to be working to move that energy from the ground floor up into the chest cavity. In any case, take whichever version of cross-legged pose you're using, and once again, lie back. Once again, turn your gaze inward. All right, and then we come up again, release, extend the legs out forward in Dandasana, staff pose. Just get the legs extended, tighten the kneecaps into the thighs, sit upright. And then you can take, I'm going to use a book. You can take a block as a prop, or you can sit on a folded blanket or on a bolster. We're going to sit on that prop, whatever prop that might be. The legs extended forward, torso really upright. Then we're going to take the right foot back and put the top of the right foot on the floor. It's half hero pose. I'm going to show it on the left side so you can see the side view. But you're going to bring the right foot back first. So it's like so. So now, kind of spread the sole of that foot out. The top of the foot, open it up onto the floor, and press down a little bit with the base of your palm into the ball of the foot. Take hold of put your thumb on the inner heel and your fingertips on the outer ankle. Just kind of turn the ankle a little bit. So you take the heel out and the ankle in, just a little bit. It kind of changes the whole position of the lower leg on the floor. Okay, I'm going to go back to doing it to the right side. So you stay where you are, bringing the right foot back. Once again, we want to sit really upright. If you have a belt, take it. It's not necessary. If you do have, you can put it around the ball of the left foot. Use the belt to help you really sit upright, alert on your sit bones. Inhale. Exhale. Extend forward, halfway. Arch the low back. Look forward. And then with another inhale, extend. And with the exhale, extend out and down into a forward bend. Let the head and neck release. Now, as you're here, you can feel that part of your perineum between the sit bones. So you can feel your sit bones on the floor or the block or whatever prop you're using. Right in between there on the pelvic floor, that soft perineum. We want to try to engage it, especially on an exhale. Engage that pelvic floor and lift the pelvic floor. You can practice it by engaging the pelvic floor on the exhale and releasing it on the inhale. And then inhale and come up. Extend both legs forward. Take the left leg back, left foot back. Press down on the ball of that foot a bit. Turn that ankle out. And then using the belt again if you like. The belt is just optional. Extend that right leg straight. Use the belt to help you lift and open the chest. Inhale. Exhale, come forward, kind of to a halfway position. Arch the low back. Really lengthen the navel and sternum forward. Soft gaze forward. Breathe comfortably in and out the nose. And then again with an inhale, extend. And with the exhale, extend and fold into the forward bend, allowing the head and neck to release. And then as you're here, again, practice that Muladhara, that Mula Bandha, that Muladhara chakra activation. So in that space of the perineum, between the sit bones. On the exhale, tighten it, but really it's engage and lift. And then on the inhale, release it. So a little ebb and flow with inhale, release, exhale, engage, inhale, release, exhale, engage. And then inhale and ease your way back up. Come to a cross-legged posture again, still seated on whatever height you have there. Take a few breaths. Move your props out of the way. Take your block, whatever away. And then we take downward facing dog. Have your bolster or blanket, your substitute, right nearby. But go ahead and take downward dog. I have my heels up on the wall because I have a wall handy, but that's optional. If you don't have a wall, it doesn't matter. Just do downward dog. So continue to hold this for a bit. This will probably be the most challenging physical posture because we want to hold it for a bit. So you want to open your palms and press your palms down evenly. Open your heels and imagine you're pressing them into the floor, even if they're not quite there. Kneecaps firm up into your thighs. Lift your thighs back. Lengthen your armpits away from your thighs. Allow the head and neck to release, and then fold your torso toward your thighs without lowering your upper arms. Again, find the breath. Be at ease with the breath, even as the pose becomes more challenging. Hang in there for just a bit longer if you can. Okay, and then take your knees down. Tape whatever prop you may have. Here, the bolster between your knees, up close in toward the groin. Sit back onto your heels, tops of the feet on the floor, and then extend out over your prop in downward facing hero pose, Adho Mukha Virasana. So this, you want to have a little support, if possible, on the lower abdomen. In the area of the solar plexus, the navel, there's just a little gentle lift there. So you can just let your weight sink down into that space, hopefully. If you don't have the prop, that's okay. Still, allow that space of the solar plexus and the belly button to just kind of soften and release down. Let the low back soften, release. Let your weight just release into the floor. Soften the neck, the throat, and just move into that quiet breath. Move into that pratyahara, that examination, that inventory of how do you feel, what do you feel internally, focusing on an awareness of what you're feeling and moving the breath into that space wherever you feel that is appropriate. All right, and then again, come up from there. Now this next one will be lying face down, and it's very helpful if you have something on to the side of your mat. You know, a blanket folded up, a pillow, a bolster, something of this sort. And so then just watch for a moment. So you're gonna lie down, face down, and bring the leg up onto this prop. So now my shin, your right shin is parallel to my left shin. My knee is at or above the height of my pelvic bone, front pelvic bone. And then I open up the left side and then I lie down. You can do it with your forehead on the floor, head to the left, head to the right, whatever works for you. And as we do in the class with props, I put a weight right on the hip pointer. So if you have something like that, you can put some weight on there, but don't go out of your way for it. This is fine as a nice restorative pose with or without the weight. So this is the basic structure. So go ahead and set yourself up and rest down. As you do this, we really want to, open as much. So the pose basically is like so, as I sit up doing it. So we want this to open out. We want this to open up. So we make as much space as possible for this whole space to open up and release down into the floor. So again, a lot of the poses we're doing are working and giving you access to this space. So give yourself that. Lying face down, breathing quietly. This is an excellent way, actually, if you've got low back pain too. This really releases the stress of the sacroiliac joint and the lumbar spine. So if you feel that, and like when you go to bed at night and maybe you've been gardening or running or doing something and there's some, tightness there in the sacrum, in the lumbar, do this for a little bit. As you're starting to drift off to sleep. You may not be able to sleep this way, but you can at least take advantage of lying down in bed with a pillow nearby to get some release. All right, then gently ease your way up from there. And of course, we'll take the prop over to the other side. And we'll do the same thing. So now the left leg comes up. You open out the right to expose as much of the pelvis, the lower abdomen to the floor as you can. And then again, you just rest down into the pose. As we've been doing throughout the class, again, you can take that internal inventory and be aware of what you're feeling. You don't have to do anything about it. The idea is just be aware of it and just breathe into that space. Just see what changes, see how it develops, see what moves. All right, and then go ahead and come up from there to a cross-legged posture. Now, if you have a wall space available, I'd like to do a little legs up the wall pose. So if you do have the wall space, if you don't, I'll give you an alternative. But if you do have it, then take whatever your bolster is or your substitute for a bolster and put it a few inches away from the wall, like so. If you don't have a bolster, that's fine. You can just do it flat on your back, on the floor. You'll want something, a pillow or something to go under your head. And the basic idea is that if you sit up close to the wall, you can just kind of watch how this works, then you swing your legs up so that you can get your butt right up against the wall. You may have to scooch, move, wiggle, whatever you need to do. But if you can see from the side view, I've got my legs and my sit bones right up against the wall. Then I'm going to take my pillow under my head, like so. You can have your hands out to the sides like I have them here, or you can bring them to your abdomen or torso, like so, if this pleases you. Either way is fine. So that's the idea. So I'm going to come down, you can go in. If you do not have a wall that you can use, then you'll enjoy this as well. That pose that we did a bit earlier where your legs are draped over the bolster and you just lie back onto the floor comfortably. Again, have something under your head as a pillow is best. Not required, but is best. So either this pose, sort of this supine pose, or the legs up the wall pose, whichever you have available as an option. I'm going to go back to the legs up the wall pose so that you, if you want to view it from the side, you can see again how it looks. And because it feels quite good. And then once again, as we've been doing through the whole class, pratyahara. Take your awareness internal. Take that inventory. What are you feeling? Just be present with that. Again, not trying to do anything with it, just being aware, present, and breathing into that space. And then just being aware of how it changes, if it does. All right, so we'll start to come out of this pose. For those who have legs up the wall, just cross your legs, keep your feet on the wall. Change the cross of your legs, so the opposite foot is sort of on top, so to speak. Then put your feet on the wall and push yourself off the bolster, so your low back is now on the floor. And then again, cross your legs now on top of your bolster. This should feel quite good. Change the cross of your legs again. Bring your knees together, feet on the bolster or floor, whatever you are on, and gently roll over onto your side. and push up into a seated posture. Sit on some height. A blanket, your bolster, something, anything. So I want to do a final pranayama, Ujjayi pranayama, or flying up pranayama breath. The idea is it moves the breath from the base up into the heart centers where we focus it, but really it's all the way up to the crown of the head energetically. We're going to do it tonight lying down, but I want to do the demonstration of it or the talking about it while sitting up. Because once we lie down and we do the pranayama, then we can just go right into shavasana and move very smoothly into that. So sit really upright on your sit bones. Kind of grab some buttock flesh on the left and right sides and separate the buttocks from each other. Kind of expose the perineum to the floor or to whatever you're sitting on. So that space between the sit bones there, that's the area of the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, the base from which we want to move the energy. So when I tell you to engage Mula Bandha in the breath, I'm saying that there's a tendon, a central perineal tendon, right in the very middle there, right between the sit bones, where all the tendons and the muscles of the pelvic floor come together. So when I say engage Mula Bandha, I mean engage that space. And then we'll be doing this through the exhale. You'll engage the whole pelvic floor and lift it up. So that's the Mula Bandha. It'll take practice, and we'll do more on it. Now the Ujjayi, the Uddiyana Bandha, is in that space of the navel perineum that we've been talking about for the whole class, where basically we want to draw the navel back toward the spine and up into the chest cavity. So we'll be doing that on the exhale as well, where we've engaged the Mula Bandha, then once we exhale and hold after the exhale, we'll engage the Uddiyana Bandha. At the same time, we're going to have the Jalandhara Bandha, that throat bandha that I talked about briefly earlier, where we lift the chest and we take the chin down. So we're going to be lifting the energy up from the base into the area of the perineum, from the perineum up into the area of the navel, and then up into the heart center, and kind of held restricted here so that there's an intensification of that energy. And that's where we're working principally, in that space, as we do this pranayama. So we're going to lie down to do it. I'm going to talk you through it. If at any point you start to feel agitation or you don't feel comfortable with it, then just stop and go back. Just breathe normally. If you feel like you're ready to, then you can kind of jump back in and follow the instructions. If the instructions aren't making sense to you, then just breathe evenly. That part will not be difficult to follow. But if all the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, all that stuff is confusing, just ignore it and just breathe through this. Once we've done several cycles of this Ujjayi pranayama, we'll go right into shavasana. So the way I would like to do it then is to go back to that pose where you have some kind of height, a blanket, a pillow, a bolster, and you extend your legs over it so that you can bend your knees like so in a really comfortable position. And then once again, as through all of these things, you'll want something, a little bit of height of some sort under your head. So go ahead, lie down. Play around with it a little bit to get a position where you feel you've got your spot. Everything is good. Bring your awareness into how you feel. Are you symmetrical? If not, make some adjustments. Do you feel balanced? If not, make some adjustments. Move yourself around as much as you need to locate that comfort zone, that sweet spot where you really feel like you can let go. You're going to want the arms either on the floor, upper arms turned out, palms up, or you can just take your palms down on your abdomen or torso as you might wish. Spend a few moments here, breathing quietly, evenly, letting yourself settle down into the floor, into the props. Again, that pratyahara, that withdrawal of awareness away from external sense objects, taking that internal inventory. What do you feel? What are you feeling? Breathe into that space. And so we'll begin. Take a good full inhale through both nostrils. Lift, open the chest, expand the chest. Good full exhale. And we begin. Inhale, lift, open, fill the chest, expand the chest. You get to the top of your inhale, hold the breath, engage that mula bandha, that central perineal tendon. Keep that mula bandha as you exhale, fully and completely exhale. Imagine directing the energy of the breath back to that point at the base of the perineum, that central perineal tendon. Hold at the end of the exhale and engage the Uddiyana bandha. Draw the navel back toward the spine and up into the chest. Release those bandhas and inhale. Lift, open, fill the chest. Hold, engage mula bandha, that central perineal tendon. Keep that mula bandha as you exhale, gradually lifting and engaging the whole pelvic floor. As you complete the exhale, hold the breath and add that Uddiyana bandha where you draw the navel back and up. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage the mula bandha. Keep your mula bandha as you exhale, gradually lifting and engaging the whole pelvic floor. As you complete the exhale, hold the breath and add the Uddiyana bandha, the navel drawn back and up. The Jandhara bandha is already passively in place by having your head tilted up under the blanket or pillow. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage mula bandha. Keep your mula bandha as you exhale. Hold. Engage the Uddiyana bandha. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage mula bandha. Keep mula bandha as you exhale. Hold. Engage Uddiyana bandha. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage mula bandha. Keep mula bandha as you exhale. Hold. Engage Uddiyana. Release the bandhas. Inhale. Continue on your own for a couple of seconds. After your next hold, after exhale, return to normal breathing. Just let go completely into your Shavasana. Just allow the breath then to move to a very quiet place. Body weight completely released into the floor, the props, your throat, your neck, your jaw soft, completely at ease. Completely at ease in that space of the inner ear, the inner eye. Deep into the brain, just complete quiet. Non-resistance. Allow yourself to move into a place that feels like complete stillness. All right, then take a few deeper breaths and bring awareness back into fingers and toes. Let your eyes open. Bring your hands to your abdomen. Be somewhere comfortable on your torso. Bend your knees, feet on the floor or prop, and roll to your side. Take a few more breaths curled up. And then keeping the head, keeping the neck and throat soft and bringing the crown of the head up last, push up into a seated posture.